today. I just wanted to talk to y'all about not getting distracted by the bullshit. Now, I know you might have moments where, you know, it may put you in a state of confusion. It may even make you hit your brakes for a minute, but don't let it stop you from doing what you need to do and finishing what you need to get done. Let me go ahead and turn this TV down. Wow. I figure why not holler at y'all while it was early, you know. And like I said, I want to be an example for young people, to look at and say and have the opportunity to get this information, and look at life from a different perspective as far as the way that they're trying to make you young men and women view it on social media, because you have a lot of people, even these, content creators out here that are only doing it for the content. They're only doing it for the subscribers, the likes, the comments. It's not about you. And a lot of people are being brainwashed and manipulated into believing that it is about them, and these content creators and these celebrities, they've found ways to use the brainwashing, in the MK Ultra to make people believe that they're, capable of living that lifestyle without even understanding what some of these people are out here doing to even get to that position. So that's what I want, you young men and women to understand is that it's a lot of things that are being projected, and it's not really the way it is behind closed doors. So that's what I wanted to say first. But I also wanted to let you know that you're going to have some trials and tribulations in life. All right. But the key is to start to recognize the patterns, right? And try your best to avoid these types of situations, and listen to your elders, man. I don't know why social media has really warped the minds of a lot of people. I can't just say young people. It's a lot of people my age as well that have been fooled by social media into believing that they're the main character on earth. So, that's what this is about. It's not just about basketball. Basketball is a way to physically train yourself and master a skill, but it also will give the players and the people that are capable of seeing it, that will indicate and give somewhat of a description of who you may be as a person. You know what I mean? And then basketball saved my life on multiple occasions. And it's, in my opinion, doing that right now. I mean, because I felt like something was missing. And when I started playing again after all these years of not playing, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about the camaraderie. It was about the energy. It was about the passion, the love. It was about being able to uh, enjoy the game with other people that enjoy the game, and that's another reason you should avoid the BS and understand that the the rain is only going to make you appreciate the sun. You know what I mean? And I and I'm really thankful. I can say that as well because I'm thankful to be able to still use my body. You know what I mean? I can't move the way I used to. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I'd be flying all over the court right now. I look at the game and I say, well, hell yeah, my generation will be able to keep up with this generation with ease. I mean, the only difference is that we didn't make as many moves and we didn't shoot as many threes. I mean, and we had a higher level as far as the understanding when it comes to fundamentals. You know what I mean? We weren't just out there. Uh, Everyone had a role in a position. And not to say that you didn't have occasions where players didn't take over the game or ball hog, it wasn't as ignored or dismissed as it is today. Most players today are being bred to be the star, or bred to be the number one athlete in that particular sport. A lot of players when we were growing up, they practiced and trained just to be able to make the team. You know what I mean? It was just a big difference. And a lot of the skills that were obtained back then, it came from actually playing. Like you had to be outside playing outdoors. You played with cats older than you, and that's how a lot of players when I came up developed. Playing older players that used to play. And not just that, you earned a certain level of respect in your neighborhood depending on your level of play when you learned or was brought up that way. So that's another thing. But not to get off topic, I really want, like I said, I want to be an example for young people to say, you know what, I appreciate you for explaining that. I appreciate you for letting me know that. And it gives them a way to, assess a situation without actually having to put themselves through that bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't want y'all to have to deal with that because a lot of y'all are too talented to be, caught up because you ignored certain patterns or uh, you allowed yourself to feel some sort of remorse based on your relationship with the person that you're dealing with. So don't get caught up, man. It's so easy to do that, and before you know it, which your plans could end up, you know, taking some sort of back seat because of a situation that you put yourself in. So I don't want to ramble, man. I just want to use every opportunity that I get to give young people a chance to see that a lot of the stuff that they're being fed is bull. You should focus on your craft, your skills. Uh, you should listen to your elders. And I'm not talking about the ones that are telling you to go out here and ignore other people and it's all about you. No, I mean the skills and talents that you have are to help you hone, those you're supposed to hone those skills That helps you understand what type of person that you are, what type of discipline that you have, and then you use those skills and those abilities to shed some light on the world, to help other people, to give people the gift that God is giving you, the ability to create, whatever that is, but that's what you should focus on, educating yourself, informing yourself, learning to develop discipline, uh, honor, chivalry, respect, dignity, class. These aren't things that, well, we were taught, but in this generation, these are the things that we lack at this point. We have a lot of people out here that think that this show is all about them, and it's not. You have a world full of people that's been brainwashed into really individualizing themselves to the point that they don't even look at the fact that we're all on earth at the moment together, so how you can't be no more connected than that, so uh, like I said, man, I may be rambling and I'm not trying to do that at all, but at the same time, I just want younger people to know that it's not about the cars, it's not about the homes, it's not about the extravagant trips, living a life of leisure. Those things are facades. Those are images that you've been given to sell you products, so you can enhance someone else's status. That's what that, it is pretty much, so when you start to look in and understand that God gave you your own talents, your own gifts, and it's not to be like everyone else. I can remember when I was coming up, people had so many differences, and not to say they weren't alike or had things in common. When you happen to get around these people, not to say we didn't have these things in common when we were around each other, it's more like, it was more eclectic. It was more, you had to guess a little bit more. You didn't, I was thinking this the other day. You guys will never know what it feels like to hear something word of mouth. And then you have to actually, you know, go through sources to get that information. You guys will never know what that's like. Because social media, and not just, and I can't say that because you guys don't always get the truth anyway. All the lies and how social media is used to BS and take you off course. I could say it's true to some degree. But back then, when you typically heard something, it wasn't that it was right, it wasn't that it was wrong. You had to go through sources and networking and and even having to know the right people to get information. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that it was right, or wrong. So that's another thing that, I was thinking, that was one thing I was thinking the other day, like, wow, but at the same time, your generation has been put in a position where information is so easily available that sometimes I almost have a hard time believing that it's this bad with this much information available. You can Google and I'm not saying that that type of fact checking is 100% right. I'm just saying that if you wanted to challenge something that say if someone said that you sound like you're programmed, or indoctrinated. You can, I mean, if you have them, well, if that person is indoctrinated and they're programmed, in my opinion, they're damn near a robot. So if you say certain things to them, they won't even, respond in any other manner than the manner that they were programmed to respond in. So I mean, that's how I'm starting to look at it now. But there was a time when I believed that, if a person informed you, that you could easily just research it and look it up. And that way you can get whatever information or answer that you're looking for, or at least close to it. But that's not the generation we live in. Social media has really indoctrinated a lot of people. The internet has programmed and brainwashed a lot of people. There's a lot of people out here that they don't realize that they're not thinking. They're thinking like the system raised them to think, that to be workers, to be a part of this group of people that's been brainwashed into believing that celebrities and comedians and athletes are the people that you should be listening to, solely listening to, or the main ones you should listen to, and like that. People are caught up to the point where they'll care about how many wins their basketball team has, more than the people that's out here dying in the streets, or losing everything because they can't support themselves because they're not being paid the wages to keep up with the economy that they're in. So it's just so many different things that people have been indoctrinated and programmed into believing, that the fight is like skating uphill, ice skating uphill. It's ridiculous. But at the same time, to the ones that are aware, to the ones that, are listening to this with sound mind, they're aware, you have foresight, you're aware. Remember, don't allow yourself to don't count yourself out, and don't let the rain keep you in a state of confusion. Don't let it, stop you from believing in yourself. Don't allow it to keep you stagnant. Keep pressing on, keep moving forward, and use that as fuel. Whatever storm that you had to go through, use that to learn and prepare yourself for the next storm that's coming. Because believe me, there are going to be many storms, and a lot of them are going to be the same. And the minute that you start to recognize the patterns and you start to understand what you need to do, when you start to see this storm developing, you'll be perfectly fine. I'm not saying that it's not going to test you. I'm not saying that you're not going to find yourself wanting to revert back to some of those old ways, but after you gain enough experience, after you start to understand the storm and what it was made for, you'll start to understand that you can't control the storm. The only thing that you can do is, control yourself within the storm and prepare yourself as far as what the storm is known to do. So that's what I think, you should remember. And like I said, I'm just a a older crash out that made some stupid decisions, bad choices. My life has been pretty. I mean, I've had some BS, a lot of bull happen. I've been through the mill, like, but I will say that it helped me develop an understanding that and awakening a part of myself that was already up, but it needed to be constantly activated because I try my best to believe that people have good in them, and of course they do, but because it's yin and yang, but there are people out here that they choose to be bad people. They choose to be. It's not by mistake. They know they're lying. They know they're being deceptive. They know they're manipulating. And those are the people that you might want to stay away from, or recognize, or try to pay attention enough to realize that you may be around some of these people because there are more of these people out there than you think. We just almost inherently or believe that most people are just good people or decent people, and that's just not true. So it's wow. It's always someone out here, just like I said, it's always negativity, it's always BS. What does neck tattoos got to do with someone trying to help other people avoid bad decisions? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how ridiculous the world is right now? That's like, you saying you're taking advice for somebody with a missing arm, and that person that has the missing arm is talking to you about motorcycle accidents, and that's how they lost their arm. So if I got tattoos and tattoos are bad decisions and that's how you view them, shouldn't you look at that being, something that I may be projecting? Like, okay, well, don't make that choice then, but tattoos are tribal. They're not just, branding like some of you may believe. Now, of course, you have people that get all type of crazy tattoos, but tattoos go back to the beginning of time, damn near. So that right there was something foolish and ignorant that you put up there, which clearly shows how immature, and not just immature you are, how dumb you are. Fucking idiot. Like, tattoos have been around forever. Stupid. So, like I said, man, it's nothing but dumb people on earth, like, mostly, and you can blame the system for that. The system created a lot of idiots. They say dumb stuff. They don't have nothing to do. They don't even have any positivity in them. Because look at how he's getting on my channel to talk about my tattoos, and even if it's a bot. That's even weird. People are creating bots to be negative towards people that are trying to enlighten people about the distractions and negativity out here in the world. So I'm just, trying to let you guys know and you ladies know that this is what you're up against. You're up against a bunch of foolish individuals that outnumber you. Because the truth of the matter is there are way more stupid people, dumb people, and followers than there are people that actually think and analyze, and they have the capability to lead and follow. There's a lot more people like Michael 99087, which may be someone that I know, because there's always a hater. There's always some uh, spy or some plant that is trying to uproot what you may be trying to accomplish. And what I'm trying to accomplish is to be an example for young people not to make the mistakes that a lot of us have made. And that is to avoid, what your elders are saying, to keep on allow to believing that you are going to do something different in a system that was created for you to fail. If you continue to do the things that are easy for you to do in the environments that we were in, which is sell drugs or allow yourself to be around, or you're around people that don't have, any plans, they don't have any goals, any aspirations, they're not motivated, they're not disciplined. And this could be our own family members, it doesn't always it's not always friends that keep us in this state, because there's a lot of people out there that they don't realize how much help they would be if they actually focused on themselves and did what they needed to do. There's a lot of people that run the minute that family, calls, or the minute that they don't, some people don't put themselves in the fire enough. They don't try hard enough to see if they're even capable of doing what they should probably be doing. The minute that something goes wrong, they run back to their family, or they run back to wherever they were at, because the comfortability is something that they would rather have than actually, fighting for what they want. So that's pretty much it, man. It's just, you guys have to be able to see it, and peep the bullshit. Don't keep getting caught up with the social media, man. People are out here lying. It's nothing but a bunch of crazy people out here, trying to make a buck. That's what most people are doing at the moment. They just want to make some money, man. You know what I mean? And they'll do anything to get it. A lot of people, you know. So you don't gotta listen to me, man. Just pay attention to what's going on. Um, I've been in a lot of, negative situations that weren't even my own, just I was an observer, to a lot of this stuff as well. And I'm telling you, that's all we are being programmed to see, hear, and interact with. And to the people that are aware enough to see what's going on, because it's starting to crash right now. I was saying this for years. I used to tell a female that I was dating, like, yo, I'm telling you, it's gonna get to a point where, even with relationships, like, women don't even see that they're going to be in positions where they're not going to be doing any of the stuff that they're doing now. Men are starting to wake up and become more serious about who we are and as people, and individuals, and what we mean, to this society, and things like that. It's just a lot going on, and politically, these people are out here uh, promoting all this negativity and all this hate and dysfunction and confusion, and it's getting to a boiling point. So people really need to start focusing on their skills and God, start focusing on God and the creator, and really looking in and to your fellow man, that understands, and your fellow woman that understands what's about to happen, and that's the reason why, again, I'm saying you gotta know how to deal with the BS. Try to avoid it as much as possible, and understand even when you find yourself in situations that you may not want to be in, or you may have not even caused it. At the same time, you have to weather it, and understand that that shall pass. You just have to make sure that, like I said, you're prepared for it, and try not to control the storm. The storm is going to it's going to surprise you at times, but you still have to understand it's a storm, and anything can happen during a storm. So, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Uh, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I got 3 likes. You don't understand how much I appreciate that. It lets me know that I'm on the right track. It lets me know that you have some youngins out there listening. And again, I want to, and talking to the guys my age, 40 plus, it's not over, baby. I don't know why you sitting around on the couch, worried about all that BS. I mean, that too shall pass. Been there, done that, and it's safe to say that I might end up there again, but with the experience that I'm gaining, it's easier to get out of that place. It's a lot, you can get out of it a lot faster when you have the experience that we've developed over these years. So, get back out there, man. I'm about to get to it myself. I got a free day. Anybody out there know how to, which is easy because I've already been looking it up. I've even made some calls and left some messages to receive as much information as possible. But I want to get my HIPAA, my chemo, and my bloodborne pathogen certification. And if there's anybody out there that knows how to do that, I'll find out how to do it today or by tomorrow, but at the same time, I just like engaging, someone out there they might have information that may help me progress a lot faster, than looking for or going in the avenues that I am. So that's the reason why I'm asking. But like I said, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. It was one point, it was up to 21 people, 15 people. Even if they're just opening the door, leaving, hey, that's enough. That means that the store got some activity. That means, if they peeked in, next time they might come, check the store out. So like I said, I appreciate y'all. Think about what I said. And remember, I'm just a nobody trying to give y'all some game. Do it now. Get it done now. Stop thinking about how you don't have anything or have this or have that. I mean, even visualizing, visualize an attack. Ain't that what he told Bobby Boucher? Ain't that what they told the water boy? Visualize an attack. I'm out of here.